guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be trying some makeup that I've had sitting here for a couple of weeks that I have been dying to try. I used to run out of ideas and now it's like I'm just overwhelmed with ideas of what to test, but these are some things that I ordered from Sephora a while back because they are just so hyped. I wanted to find out for myself whether they were worth either the good hype, the bad hype in some cases. So the first thing we're going to be trying today is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I've never tried this before and this is not a new product at all, but it got new life breathed into it recently when Jackie Aina partnered with the company and released a bunch of new shades. So there are new deep dark shades and there's actually two new light skin shades as well. And so I got it in the shade Almond. I feel like there's just a lot of pressure on these companies right now to release more shades. I think Fenty kind of put everybody under the gun. And when the Tarte Shape Tape foundation came out and it had very few shades in it, people got really up in arms. So I commend them for taking this step. Hopefully this is a good match for me. And I've been wanting to try this foundation for a long time because it's got coconut water, alpine rose, and hyaluronic acid in it. Just things that I have liked in other products. So excited to try that today. The next thing that we're going to be unboxing and unbubble wrapping here is the Subculture Palette. The much scandalized Subculture Palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. They're set to discontinue this, and I think that they never really improved the formulation. I heard from some people that there was like a 2.0 on this, and some people that there wasn't. I'm gonna find out. The weird thing was Sephora put this on special for half off when I bought this. So this is only $21, which is a darn good price for a palette, especially an ABH palette. Regardless of whether it's the best or the worst, I'm not going to be like mad about buying it and owning it. Plus, I loved the shades on this palette when it came out. It just got such bad reviews. It was like the dustiest palette ever from ABH or whatever. So I'm excited to try this today, see if the tea is real. And also, I'm just excited to own this because this isn't gonna be sold that much longer. And then finally, we are going to be, this is my first Bite Beauty lipstick. We're going to be trying their latest, I guess we're in Leo season now, but this was the latest when I bought it. It is the Astrology by Bite 621 Cancer shade, and they do one of these basically like with every zodiac season, and this is a really cool kind of beigey lavendery neutral, and I'm excited to try something like that. I've heard such good things about the Bite formula. Also, guys, let me know what you want me to try in terms of like zodiac things. I did an anti-haul a long time ago when like the newest sensation was like unicorn and mermaid. I told you guys like I'm not interested in that stuff, but they kind of have me in a corner with this zodiac thing because you guys know that I'm really into astrology, and right now astrology themed makeup is like the new unicorn mermaid situation. Help me discern which ones to try and which ones to pass on because I want to try some of them. Okay, I've got my skincare on. Let's go ahead and jump in here. We're going to start with the foundation. I am going to do a full wear test of this because y'all know I love a good foundation wear test. It's kind of the cornerstone of my channel these days. So I, again, got the shade Almond, and Almond sounds like it's going to be really yellow or maybe deep, but this doesn't appear to be that way. It looks like a pretty stinking good match. All right, I'm gonna dippity dab that on my face here with this Thrive Cosmetics brush. I think this is more of a sponge situation. We're gonna go ahead and sponge this guy on. It's just a little bit lighter weight. It's a very dewy skin-like finish. And so the brush tends to kind of lay a little too much product on and be a little bit streaky. I already like this. You guys know that I love a skin finish. You know I love a dewy finish foundation. I love kind of camouflaging the things on my face more than completely covering them up. I find that it's just less punishing over the course of the day because we all know, guys, I'm a broken record. I live in Austin, Texas. This stuff's gonna crawl off my face. It's just whether it does it in a reasonable manner or not. I do want to see if this is like buildable though, because it is a very thin looking formula. It is very sheer. I mean, not like super sheer. It's not like a BB cream, but it's definitely not full coverage. It actually reminds me a lot of the Kojin dough, like a lot. And yeah, it's a little bit yellow, but I mean, that I can work with. Too dark, too light. That's frustrating, but this is just a little bit yellow on me and that's totally fine. All right, I'm going to go in here with some of my Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer. I've been really into this lately. It does such a good job of actually highlighting my under eye. And man, is this a concentrated formula. I think that if you bought this like in the right shade, you would forget how long you'd had it. Like, I'm probably going to throw this away because it expires, not because I actually run out of it. So far, so gorgeous, y'all. I'm loving that. Gonna throw on a little powder here. Let's see, is there any like SPF or anything in here? I don't think so. It is super freaking humid outside, so I want to give this guy his best chance. Just going a little heavier with the powder. We can always use a setting spray to bring it back down. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of my face on up until eyeshadow, and then we will unbox this mystery babe. Okay, I have my whole face on up until my eyes, and I've already put on a little bit of my Luscious Angel Eyes eyeshadow primer, which I am still in love with. Let's go ahead and crack into this lovely lady. As usual, it comes in this really nice velvet packaging. Forgot even how excited I was about these weird friggin' shades. Like, look at that. I'm sure they're gonna roll out in place of this like around fall time. I mean, I'm just speculating, but I guarantee they're gonna roll out something with very similar shades in it, because if they eliminate this, there isn't really anything in their repertoire that has these particular shades in it. And I just think that this is like a really cool, like, it's just very different from any of the other palettes that I have. It does come with her little brush. Not the biggest fan of this brush. I think that this brush end is really awesome, and this one's kind of plasticky and annoying. Let me scooch in here so that you guys can see a little bit better, and we're gonna go ahead and start laying down some color. Going to start with this shade Dawn, and we're gonna really try and, oh boy, oh yes. Yep, I see it now. I see it. This is exactly what they talked about in all of the reviews, is that this is just extremely dusty palette, so we're going to be very careful with her. But dusty does typically translate to a really beautiful application, maximum blendability. Because I have some highlighters you guys have seen on my channel if you've watched any of my other videos that are very dusty, but it makes for such a gorgeous application that it's totally worth it. You just have to be a little bit more careful. Starting in with that, and then we're gonna go in with the lightest shade here, which is Cube, and I'm just going to throw that kind of under my eyebrow bone here. You guys always know that I'm going to give you the tea on the lightest shade in an eyeshadow palette, and that's the lightest shade. Isn't that wild? So it's not white, it's just kind of like a duochrome shimmer. It's very, not even shimmer, a duochrome satin. It's very pretty, but I'm not sure how that's going to work as like a brow bone highlight. Huh. Yeah, I don't really do a very good job of tweezing every last hair underneath my eyebrows, and so shimmery shades like this will totally highlight all of my like eyebrow stubble. Not my favorite, but we're going to work with her. I can feel the fallout falling down on my nose. I should probably have gone the bake route, you know, put some powder underneath my eyes to kind of protect so that I can brush off that fallout later, but we'll just make do. I never bake. I need to get kind of a strategy in place here because I want to use some of these really interesting shades. I definitely want to use Edge right here, this really beautiful chartreuse color. I'm going to take a flat brush here and I'm going to place it in that chartreuse shade. That one doesn't appear to be, whoa, just kidding. It's not dusting as in the pan is just going everywhere, but like, it's pretty dusty. I'm gonna place that up here. And normally I wouldn't just like lay product down with a flat brush like this in this part of my eye. I'm very much a blending fan, but these colors kind of need to stay distinct. They're very different from one another. These don't seem like very layerable shades, and that's fine with me. I kind of knew what I was getting into with this palette. It's definitely not an everyday, for me at least, kind of shade situation. That's kind of a sick color, and not in a good way. Like, it's kind of an icky color, but I think that it serves a purpose. It's going to be kind of a cool backdrop for other stuff, but yeah, it's kind of baby poopy right now. Okay, I'm going to lighten that up a little bit towards the brow bone with this shade New Wave and just kind of place that above it and see what we get. So yeah, these are some of the most pigmented shades I have ever seen in my life. This is crazy. This is a very mimicked palette on Hush. I've definitely seen a lot of people compare the, you know, impersonation, the knockoff from Hush to this. I mean, it's just very clear that this is a palette that cannot be parodied because in spite of its dustiness, like the quality of these pigments is ridiculous. It's like off the charts. All right, I'm going with a little bit of like Dawn, this one right here, that first one we started with, the sort of neutral shade. And I am just kind of blending up to the brow bone with that. I will highlight the brow bone here in a minute, but I just kind of want to get a situation blended up here. They are a little tough to blend once you lay that freaking product down. Like they are not wanting to really budge from where I have kind of patted it in. Gonna dip into my Urban Decay palette here and just grab the lightest shade so that we can highlight the brow bone real quick because that cube color does not afford us that ability really. I'm really scared to dip a fluffy brush in the Anastasia palette because I just don't know what's going to happen if I just start kind of trying to normal blend the way that I would with any other palette where I can kind of layer the colors on each other. This is really begging me to continue color blocking, being very careful to blend the edges together. And I'm going to lay down this all-star magenta right here. This is terrifying. I'm terrified. Let's do this. Wow, that's darker than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be more of a fuchsia. But you really can just draw with this stuff. It's wild. Holy crap, dude. Yeah, this is not a palette for the faint of heart. It's like drawing with markers. They don't really give you very far to go after you've done that as far as the shades are concerned because you don't really have like really a way of working yourself out of purple except for this Roxy shade, so that's what we're gonna do next. Lighten that up a little bit. Yeah, once they're on, y'all, be really careful because there's really no like blending once you've laid that color down, or like at least it's gonna be a little hard. You have to just layer right on top of it. So there we go. Using this Roxy shade, try and break that line up a little. Like I probably should have done Roxy first. Yeah, and then laid that purple down after it. Dang, this is like punishing. It's like really hard to work with because they're just so pigmented. Like that right there, like I don't know how I'm gonna get out of that, what just happened. And I really put like so little product on my brush. There we go, that's actually better, okay. All right, okay. I'm only like slightly panicking. What I have saved space for on my eyeballs here is the greens of it all, which again, truly have no idea how this is about to go because yeah, it just could be freaking awful. Gonna start with Untamed and Edge. We really lost Edge. I put Edge on there first and we lost her. So we're gonna go back in with that. And then maybe highlight with like electric, or maybe put electric under the eyes. I've never worn like greens and green blues on my eyes, so this should be interesting. Oh boy, here we go. Yep, hi, hello. I'm telling you guys, I'm going and touching so lightly in this palette right now because you really can't prepare yourself for how aggressive these shades are. That's hard. I'm actually going to take this little teeny tiny guy here with that same shade and at least trace this line right here so it's clean. I'm not sure that really helped actually at all. And then I'm going to take that same Edge shade, that chartreuse that we started with, go on the inner here. I mean, you can just color block as the day is long here. Is that looking okay? I have no idea. I'm actually going to go with a little bit of primer in the middle of my eyelid and then put a little bit of like the glitter shimmery shades on top. I'm just not sure how much more distinction I'm gonna be able to get layering these products one on top of the other. Going to grab Electric here, which is a ridiculous duochrome sea green color, and lay her in the center right here. I think that that's just like a shade that we put our finger in. That's just what we do. So that is like instant light. Granted, it is shifting green, which is maybe not the most flattering thing in the world, but you know, as far as the performance of the actual shadows, like that worked. It just makes me look a little bit insane. We weren't going for normal today. All told, I don't think this is going horribly, but my like heart is racing. We're going to, I really want to use this shade Adorn right here, and it is a very, you would see this in another palette, it is a comfort zone kind of color. It's just a very pretty kind of like foiled taupe. The foiled shades are not as dusty. And actually, I'm not going to go in the inner corner with that. I'm going to go in the inner corner with Cube, the sort of iridescent white. Yeah, I actually really like that as an inner corner highlight. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous! She doesn't really pack much of a pigment punch. She's more of just an iridescence punch, but that's fine with me. I'm gonna skip the liner on this look just because I don't really want to mess up what I've got going on. I think mascara will be enough. Let me go ahead and throw some mascara on here. I will be right back because that is quite boring to watch. Okay, so do I love what we were able to achieve? Yeah, I really do. It actually reminds me a lot of some of the shades in the Born to Run palette. You do end up with a good bit of like that same spectrum, but the greens in the Subculture are just so different. Like you're just not going to get these like chartreuses and these amazing like sea greens in this palette like you're going to get in the Subculture palette. And now we're going to just finish off with some lip here, and I'm really excited to try this. Again, Bite Beauty. She is not inexpensive. This is the shade Cancer. I already think that I love it. It might pull a little bit dark on me, like darker than I expect, but we're going to go ahead and try it. I do have some lip balm on right now. We're going to take that off. I just get tired of looking at my crusty lips while I'm editing. All right, let's swatch this. Yeah, that's a very pretty, like, lavender mauve, very cool toned, not really even, I mean, I guess you could call that a nude, but it's like leaning pretty purple. Let's see here. Oh boy. I thought this was going to be matte. This is the Amuse Bouche. I just thought that the Amuse Bouche was matte for some reason. Patchy. Like trying to get the full impact of this shade is difficult. It's not a shade that like should necessarily be sheer on the lips. It's not a wash of color kind of thing because it is so unnatural. No one's lips are this color. So I would hope that it would be a little bit more opaque, and it just isn't. But I don't hate the shade. It's pretty. It's not easy to wear, but it's pretty, and it does kind of pull a little bit from the eyeshadow, not that they have to match or anything. Yeah, I'm actually really like underwhelmed with that formula on that lipstick, you guys. I tried some lipsticks, guys, that have phenomenal formulas that are half the price of this, if not even less. I mean, you know, you can go get a ColourPop lipstick that the formula's phenomenal, the packaging's gorgeous, and this is so inexpensive. This is not cheap. This is a $26 lipstick. I mean, we're in like luxury territory at this point, and that is just not a formula that I would necessarily like reach for on a regular basis. It just doesn't have a lot of color impact like I would hope that it would. So we are going to do a wear test on this foundation with all this eyeshadow on my face. I'm going to get rid of the lipstick though. I cannot wear this lipstick all day. I don't even like it right now. If you guys see me at the end of the day and I've managed to like tone down this eyeshadow situation, I hope you understand, because this is not a wear test kind of thing. I don't think anybody doubts that an Anastasia Beverly Hills palette is going to give you color impact over the course of the day. If we have proven anything today, it is that the ABH Subculture palette is pigmented. Gonna get rid of this lipstick. I might tone down the eyes at some point if I actually have to leave the house. I might just end up cleaning the house and editing my vlog and stuff with this on. Just completely unnecessarily over the top and extra. So yeah, my thoughts on this palette, I'm really glad that I own it. I'm going to definitely use it again. I think it's really pretty. I am also really grateful to all of the other creators who kind of took one for the team when they first got this and basically prepared me for the fact that I needed to be really gentle and careful using this palette because she's not playing around. I will repeat, this is not a beginner palette. If you want to do something really cool and avant-garde and you want to definitely be very conscious and careful and probably lay product on rather than trying to blend and layer, this is the palette for you. This is a very fun companion palette to add to your repertoire. There are just shades in this palette that you're not going to find anywhere else, especially in this formula quality. That said, I'm not mad about this at all. I'm actually kind of sad that they're discontinuing it. I am glad that I got it for $21. That's pretty neat. Those are my thoughts on the eyeshadows. The lipstick is a total pass. I mean, the shade is cool and unique, and I think that it's very pretty, but the formula is really disappointing, especially for $26. But I'm going to do the full wear test on the Born This Way foundation, which I am really liking so far, and I will check in with you guys at the end of my day. TTYL. Please just don't be pink. Drives me crazy. Every time I do a check-in at the end of the night, my footage is pink, and I don't understand why. I end up having to color correct the living daylights out of it to make it make sense. Anyway, it is now at least 8 hours later. Maybe 9 hours later? I don't know. I just ran up my stairs, which winded me. I don't know why. That shouldn't be the case. Anyway, this is after a full day wear test. We did it! This has been a really marathon week/weekend for me. You guys, I want you to know that staying on schedule on all of these videos, having been out of town all of last weekend and throughout the middle of the week, has been very challenging for me. But this is so important to me, to make sure that you guys have videos to watch, that I refuse to compromise. Today, my vlog went up, and when I watched it, one of the titles went in weird, and I felt like it dragged in the beginning, and so I completely re-edited it, deleted it, and re-uploaded it, and you guys were like, why did I just get another notification? And I was just like, because it wasn't to my standards, and I needed to re-upload it, and you guys were like, alright, cool. One of you was like, I just watched it again. For no reason, and I was like, I love you so much. I appreciate you guys, and I want you to know that regardless of what's going on in my life, I'm really trying my absolute damnedest to get you guys the best quality content that I'm capable of creating in the time that I'm given. That said, let's talk about this foundation. So, I was just outside for a really long time, and it's really hot. Let's just blot ski here and see what we can kind of... Yeah, it's gonna make a lot more sense if I can blot a little bit, because I don't think this foundation is bad. Let's see. It's not the best, which actually is interesting to me, because I try a lot of foundations, and they tend to fall on one end of the spectrum or the other, right? It's usually just like total dumpster fire, or like, oh my god, blow my mind. This one is somewhere in the middle. It's kind of in there with the Jouer foundation, in the sense that like, someone could probably find a way to make it work. It's not perfect. It's not ideal. It is giving me an okay situation. So let me show you up close here. Like so many of you are grateful that I do at the end of these videos. So, yes, the light is making things look better than they are. There we go. All right, this is only my fault. Like, the fact that the makeup is gone here, the makeup is gone here, the makeup is gone here, is because I have been blowing my nose all day. The allergies are so real that I literally have just been blowing. Like, just imagine snot all in this area. It is not any makeup's expectation that it should stick around through something like that. I've literally been wiping it out of those areas, so I don't blame it for that. But, is it settling in a little bit? It's settling in a little bit. Is it breaking up on me a little bit? It's breaking up on me a little bit. But I'm not embarrassed by it. You guys know how I've talked about some foundations where I'm like, I'd be scared to run into somebody I knew right now because I'm in an embarrassing makeup situation. Like, that's DEFCON 1 when it comes to makeup. Like, we're nowhere near that right now. This isn't like the best thing in the world, but I also wouldn't be like hyper embarrassed to run into somebody right now. However, there are better makeups out there for this level of coverage, for this level of finish. What is on my face? For the expectation that was given to me by this foundation, there are other foundations that I think would do better. In terms of its actual like fidelity in the humidity and the weather, it just is like a 7, 6.5 out of 10. So that's what I would give this, a 6.5 out of 10. I just don't think that this formula is necessarily meant for hot weather. However, it is so hydrating for being an oil-free formula that I will be happy to wear it in the wintertime. Sorry, I had to tell Mike to turn the freaking radio off because he's deaf and it was thundering through the house. So anyway, I don't necessarily think that this is the best summer foundation in the world. However, the hydration factor, especially for being an oil-free foundation, I want to wear this again in the winter. Remind me when we get to cold weather to try this foundation again, because I think it's going to perform beautifully in cold weather, because honestly, cold weather has just as many challenges as hot weather. My skin tends to get super freaking dry, and then certain foundations that work in the summer don't work in the winter because they cling to all of my dry spots, and I do have very dry skin. So I don't want to necessarily say that this is like a huge pass or something. It's just a 6.5 out of 10 on a summer foundation scale. I just wouldn't necessarily recommend it. So guys, those are my thoughts. Also, I managed to really revise the eyeshadow situation. I just rubbed it a lot and wiped it off, and then I just kind of went back in with some more neutral shades, gave myself this kind of like weird brown blurred effect so that I could just be among humans in society without people thinking I came from a drag show. And yeah, the lipstick didn't work at all for me. So if you guys enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you guys did. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and for watching. I love you so much. I hope you appreciate this ridiculously candid review, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!